The night was calm, the ocean was silent, and the stars above the North Atlantic glimmered like distant lanterns. On April 10, 1912, the RMS Titanic carried more than 2,000 souls across the ocean, dreamers, families, workers, and among them, dozens of Americans whose stories would become some of the most unforgettable chapters of this tragedy. Their journey began with hope, but destiny had already written a darker ending. John Jacob Astor IV, one of America's richest men, boarded the Titanic with his young pregnant wife, Madeline. He was calm, polite, almost unaware of the whispers that followed him. People admired his elegance, his fortune, his quiet charm, but under his gentle smile, he carried the simple desire of a husband. He just wanted to take his wife home safely. Little did he know how fate would test that promise. A few decks below, another American, Molly Brown, moved with the energy of a woman who refused to be invisible. Wealthy, outspoken, kind-hearted. She was known for helping people, even strangers. She didn't board the Titanic as a celebrity, but she would leave it as a legend people would one day call the unsinkable Molly Brown. Around them, hundreds of other American passengers lived their own stories. Families from New York, businessmen from Philadelphia, immigrants who had finally found the money to return home. Some carried dreams, some carried secrets, but all carried hope. For nights into the voyage, the Titanic sailed smoothly through freezing waters. People danced, laughed, whispered promises, played cards, wrote letters. Up on deck, couples admired the stillness of the ocean. But that stillness was a warning more than a beauty. At 11:40 p.m., everything changed. A scraping sound, a violent shudder, ice cracking along the hull. The ship trembled under the weight of its mortal wound. People paused in confusion. A few laughed, thinking it was nothing. But the ocean knew better. When the truth became clear, that the Titanic was sinking, fear spread like fire. Officers called passengers to the lifeboats. Mothers clutched their children. Men stared into the darkness, knowing what women and children first truly meant. Astor gently helped Madeline onto a lifeboat, placing a reassuring hand on her arm. "You'll be safe," he whispered. She begged him to join her, but he stepped back, shaking his head. "I'll see you soon." It was a promise he couldn't keep. His final moments were quiet, calm, dignified. The last act of a man who chose love over life. Molly Brown, refusing to sit silently, helped frightened passengers into lifeboats. When her own boat was finally lowered, she demanded the crew go back to search for survivors. She argued, shouted, even fought with courage that refused to drown with the ship. Meanwhile, chaos spread across the decks. The bow dipped lower. The stern rose higher. Lights flickered. Music kept playing, not out of denial, but as a final gift to the terrified souls listening. Some prayed, some cried, some held hands in silence. At 2:20 a.m., the Titanic broke apart and disappeared beneath the ocean, leaving a darkness so deep it seemed endless. The screams that followed would haunt survivors forever. Hours later, the rescue ship Carpathia arrived. In the freezing dawn, lifeboats drifted silently, carrying survivors who stared at the horizon with hollow eyes. Among them was Madeline Astor, alive but shattered, and Molly Brown, wrapped in a blanket, exhausted yet fierce, organizing blankets, food, and comfort for the grieving. In America, news of the sinking spread faster than the rising sun. The nation mourned its lost sons and daughters. Today, more than a century later, the stories of those American passengers remain symbols of bravery, heartbreak, sacrifice, and hope. Some lived, many didn't, but every one of them left behind a story the ocean could never drown.